Now, he said the Iraqi marketplace is in financing. We are wrong to not accept. We funded the use of the value of the Iraqi dinar, meaning the original target is the added value. And it does not only benefit funds to promote, and it clicks off. The university professors is qualified also financial analyst, and real analyst means excellent. The problem of definition, the industrialists will not stop a lot when they see the entry of goods from borders, unpacking the file from what affects them and their time right now. Now, what that means is they're trying to put a hold on the industrialism. So they're trying to get people in Iraq to build stuff. Do you see what I'm saying? They got to get agriculture going. I told you they had to get industry going. If they get those two things popping and going well, then their economy can kind of start booming because that's a self-sustained private sector. You see what I'm saying? But they need to get money injected in those infrastructures so that they can get those enterprises started. So when you see all these things about small and medium enterprises, this is what he's relating it to, okay? Mm-hmm. Now, in 2020, who is with me? More? Okay. What is the interest in reducing interest? Do not exceed 4% interest. The duration of lending is 10 years, but 5 million temporary stop industrial, is it stop industrial, agriculture, housing is ongoing almost felt central bank. 245 workshops, top initiative. They tell you that all the time. They got to start having business and housing. Dude, this guy's giving you the blueprint for what they're doing. This happened 2 months ago before the protest started. Do you not see? This guy's telling you the tale. Now, there's more. He says, foreign transfers or the development of foreign trade, and we will, God willing, have money. We do not give in to what corresponds to the dinar and the dinar. So let it be known, the law is transferable. He said the dinar is a dinar. Now, later on, they're going to reference the dinar being equal to $1 or greater. You see what I'm saying? They're saying now that the dinar is a dinar. It's not $11.90. You get what I'm getting at right now? To dissect this, you understand that they've always thought the dinar held a nominal value. This is not old news. This is not new news. This has always been the news. Forget everything else. Forget what's going on in the news. This guy's telling you right now that these are the things that they were doing now, right? Now, I think the demonstrations and the protests were planned because they didn't enact this plan. I'll interject right there, okay? That's a stopping point. Okay. Now listen to this. We do not give the first dollar. Receive and correspond to the dinar. And the dinar is a sale that becomes known to the law. They're basically saying the dinar is going to be the dollar, and that will be the law. You see what I'm saying? They're getting to it. If we receive correspondence that the dinar is a dinar, let it become known according to the law, it is transferable. Whoever has a dinar, he owns the dollar of Islamic jurisdiction, Bahrain's and our souls. I could stop right now. I could literally stop right now. Dude, I'm getting goosebumps. I haven't gotten to the second part yet. This is the first part. The second jurisprudence rules the dollar informs the dollar is the dinar. The second jurisprudence rules the dollar informs the dollar is the dinar. The simple sale is unconditional from the currency. Now, the Ministry of Finance gives us dollars. If we don't have anything, we have dollars. So, from dinars to the budget, every time I get acquainted with the new monetary issue, I arrived on monetary block with maintain the strength of the Iraqi currency. Think about that. What he said was every time they talk about the dollar, it has strength, right? Mm-hmm. So when they talk about going back and implementing monetary policy, they think of it with that same monetary strength. That a dinar is a dinar. Okay? From the dinar, operations before the occasion, how much is the dollar? All airports procedures after making all alike. Now they're saying again, if you make all the currency alike within trading value, now you have a currency that holds strength. And because of the psychological values that it held that he talked about earlier, people don't see it as an embarrassment by erasing those zeros. They see it as a strength. Okay? This is episode 2. It says, blah, blah, blah. He says, the first part of this is one of the 3 zeros from the Iraqi currency's known implications. Try to take a pedestal service in loans. Domain stretched. Look for loans. Payments first, settle on transactions. Dinar first. Inflation is the case, dimensions, operations, expensive. They're different, and the distance without what I mean is the relationship to the dinar. The money supply does not change, but that is, it reduced the zeros. The money supply doesn't change, that is, it reduced the zeros. That constant, that is the reduction of zeros, does not change the amount of money in circulation. I'm not lying. It's right there. I'll post this. Dude.
So this all came through translation in that interview?
Yep. Now it says, children, unless the amount of money changes, will not be affected. Right? They won't be. I know it sounds trivial, but it makes sense. Children, unless the amount of money changes, will not be affected. Unless you change the money amount, the citizens will not be affected. The cash supply remains on the cash side. That means the rate of inflation in the case of payment operations, and these are different. Display the change. Inflation is the constant, that is the reduction of zeros. He's saying it right there. To reduce the inflation, you got to reduce the zeros. Okay? Mm-hmm. What does that mean? Fighting the crooks. Fighting the crooks. In the event of increasing various economic operations, after what that I mean, Iraq women. Now, earlier today, everybody wants to know what the hang-up on the election law is. The hang-up on the election law is simply this. They got to put women in parliament. That's it. They have to put women in parliament and empower women to hold parliamentary seats and be a part of the government and have full rights as the men. That's what they're arguing over right now. It's not that they're arguing over the PM. The PM's going to get there eventually. But what they're trying to get is more women involved in the political side of the Iraqi GOI. Because that's what the world wants to see. And that gets them on the stage to being equal with the world. Okay? Mm-hmm. Deleting the zeros affects inflation. I'll read that again, sorry. Deleting the zeros affects inflation. It affects the monetary mass, and it does not affect it because each year for one of its equivalent, but without their net that. Now, that is really gibberish, but what they're saying is if you delete the zeros of inflation, it's year to year, so it won't really affect the year-to-year differences. But the equivalences will balance out by year to year. So the net equivalent of the dinar will remain the same. Inflation will change. Our dollar is a dollar in this country, but inflation every year might change a couple of points. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll read you the last part, okay? This is the last translation, and then I'll surmise. I'm keeping y'all late. I'm sorry, y'all.
But you know, that makes sense. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. What's your question?
No, it makes sense. Go ahead. Because what I had to say was trivial. Inflation varies, but go ahead.
This is the last one I want to read you guys because this is cleaned up. So we read the header about God bless you, you're the manager. It says, for the year, and it says now 2013, trying to delete the 3 zeros from the Iraqi currency to know its implications. The timing of this verse is temporarily stalled. The public is the first file. We try to deliver it, but deleting the 3 zeros from the Iraqi currency to know its implications. Second file. The first part, let me take a general idea and concept of the party. Why do some countries go to Qatar to compensate? And they said issue Qatar because it's 27 cents. Now, they said the second edition is forbidden, meaning that in economic measures, economic changes, rather it is targeted. Facilitate high accountability to influence the parties, account settlements, the first settlement of transactions. I wish for some other things. Fix this, you change the amount of money. Now, if you don't get the gist of this over and over and over again, the gist of this is you have to change the money to change their psychology and to change the ideas or the psychological aspects of having these huge bills, because they think it's having big faces. You see what I'm saying? But it's not. It's a detriment to what they're doing. And they've been trying to actually implement this and insert it since 2013, but they didn't have the laws or the policy in place to actually implement it now. That's why I don't care what Dr. Shabibi said 10 years ago. He couldn't have pulled it off. You'd have went to the bank and it'd have been just like Zimbabwe, your currency would be worthless. Because they couldn't sustain monetary policy unless they had physical policy to substantiate the actual realistic value of the dinar. That is truth. Okay? Now, I'm trying to think of the next part I want to read you guys before I close this out. Okay, let's skip that. They stress this one more time. The Iraqi market is financing. We need to accept the concept. We funded the use of the value of the dinar, meaning the original target is the added value, and it does not only mean the benefit for funds, but to promote citizens. Okay? Now, I told everybody, do you guys really want to know what the hold up to everything that's happening right now?
Of course.
I'll be honest with you, and I'll read it to you.
Yes.
I'll tell everybody honestly what the real hold up. It's not corruption. It's not Iran. It's not anything. It's one person.
One person.
One person is holding up the whole reinstatement of the Iraqi dinar. And then I'll take some questions.
And who's that one person?
Young Iraqi protesters spoke rude while in Baghdad Square last week said they are losing faith in country's top Shiite religious authority, Grand Ayatollah Ali al-Sistani. See,
so it's Sistani.
Sistani's the hold up. Because when Sistani spoke, Mahdi resigned. Sistani's not come out and said enact the monetary reforms. If he simply just said that one statement, it would happen. But he hasn't blessed it or encouraged it to happen. Now, he's going to do it. He's going to pressure policy to make it happen. But that's what's going on, why things haven't moved in the fashion that we want to see them move. For every day that Sistani doesn't open his mouth, it gives the GOI one more day to stall to pass laws or do whatever they're doing on the back end before Sistani gives his blessing to the monetary reform. Okay. Now, you're going to say to me, Mr. B, you're full of crap. How do you know that? And I'm going to tell you how I know that is simply like this. Everybody wants to do business with Iraq because Iraq is rich in minerals, in resources, and in wealth. It doesn't matter to a certain extent what their note count is, because you know that demand deposit says that everything that's been purchased doesn't mean it has to be deposited. This doesn't have to be sinister. It doesn't have to be some political espionage or some grand scheme. It can simply be a couple easy things, such as policy, trade, and economics. Now, I understand the note count is way high, but you got to understand, when they deem those bills damaged, those are not direct deposit, or they're not deemed depositable. You see what I'm saying? Those bills are being destroyed. So when people tell me the note count's too high, you don't know what the note count is, because you know what? Even China lies about their note count. So why would Iraq tell the truth? They're way smaller than China. And China has like the second best economy in the world. So don't tell me that these countries are honest about their note counts. Now, last thing I want to leave you guys with this. How I know Iraq is the bomb place to do business. For the first time in many years, the United States of America started loaning money out to the Kurdistan region. Now, why would the United States of America with all the money it could loan anybody, loan the Kurdistan region, one of the most oil richest places in the whole world, money if this country was failing with a zero sum total of its currency. Okay? I leave you with that. And that, my friends, is the real